So let's go and look at this first one, which is a very different look at the faces and a very different look at the color, some of the colors. That soft green is a very important part, and then it becomes brighter as it goes to the edges. We're really looking at changes in the shapes and the relationship to the shapes to the positives. The positive to the negative space is very different in this one, and it makes it so that the piece is very different than the other pieces that you'll see. Now, what we're really looking at in the end is the negative space getting more activated, but also kept simplified. So it's real important to understand the difference between simplification and activication. Activication meaning that they have a life to the outside of the positive space. So when going outside the positive space and you go into the negative, into the usual white paper. This one is a more dealing with the human faces, but in different modes and modalities and way of seeing. I had it originally with that flat top in the middle there, and I didn't like it. So the next day I put the violet head up above, looking down on everything. It's important to be able to be flexible in all this works, because you have to be flexible for things to happen, and let things happen on their own. Let's take a look at what those blues are doing. Those blues, the face and the head is that blue, and that blue that goes around the side of the mask, separate from the rest of the painting. That blue appears in 3 places, but not the same. It's a little bit lighter at the bottom. We're trying to get this work to really have something very different, so I use the off-white white down in the left center of the painting. The left center of the painting becomes more important than it was originally. Let's look at the right side in that blue that goes around the mask, our face, and that brings the blues together from both sides of the painting. It's important that both sides of the painting are represented in an equal amount, but also distinctly different. Let's also look at what's happening in terms of the yellow. The yellow is an anchor color, or we talked about before, that holds the piece together, and that's the large yellows that take over. They hold the piece, the big pieces, the simple shapes together. When you're looking at simple shapes, holding it together in the large format, it really makes a difference, because we're talking about holding the viewer in a place where they can go and stay and let things happen. And letting things happen inside the piece, that off-white is a very important part of the change. And I very rarely use that off-white, but I've been doing it more lately. Let's look at this one as how the soft pinkish reds play a very major part in the piece, but then also it becomes an earth color up on the right side. But the relationship between the earth colors and the pinks are an important part of this painting. We also have to remember that these color lines coming through to break it up, because I want to break up the space, constantly breaking it up, but constantly connecting each side together in a way. Let's look at the stripes and the inside colors on the right side, and that's really where we're talking about the variety of color more than on the left side. We want to also remember that these colors have to relate to each other, but have to also be separate from each other. They can be separate but equal, and that's one of the important things about these works. Separate but equal is a very important part of the design, and the design, as we know, is the drawing. And when I draw these out, I draw the design, and then it sits for a day or two, and then I put back my other pieces. But I want the fracturedness of this is very important on the right side, and the solidity on the left side plays against that. So you're playing against the fractured, against the solidity. Let's also remember that these paintings are what they are. They're floating images on the white 300-pound paper, which I've been continually using for 5 years. So let's also look at the right side in terms of breaking up that dark violet line around the outside of the left, the lower left. That goes inside to the face and then back out again. But it becomes separate on its own. That sounds like a contradiction, but it's for me how it works. All these pieces are themselves independent pieces. They each have their own life. This piece I just finished today, and it's important that it's different in some ways, but the same of the idea of the masks and the faces and the human drama being part of it, but also that we have our abstract patterns and coming in the middle, especially in the middle part of the painting. We have the 3 different blues that are in here really represent the solidity of the piece, and letting that happen in ways that don't happen if I didn't have those blues there. They're kind of the anchors in the whole piece. Someone might ask, why does he have white hair but a blue goatee, mustache? And it doesn't matter, because it's really just part of the painting. It's not an end in itself. Remember, nothing is an end in itself. So we just keep that going. I want the people to understand that these paintings talk about the colors and the drawing, and the interaction between the drawing and the colors, so that they're constantly changing. And that's that change that makes such a difference, that makes each one an individual piece. We don't want the piece to be just something that is a bunch of color and with the white paper. No, I want it to be a story inside itself, but we don't know what the story is. It's a mystery. It's all a mystery. I think the whole thing is that I try to keep each one different and each one unto itself, a mystery, and thoughtful, and try to make each one say it's what it has to say. And if it's not making sense to anybody, that's all right. It's just what it is. But I'm making sense of it in my mind.